Alright, hopefully this is actually working, and hopefully that, we're not going to have any problems with streaming tonight, because it is a very important stream. But hello everyone, welcome. I just picked up Glasgow Cathcart Circle, and fun thing is, it is discounted technically if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber. I mean, I saved 10%, which brought the price down to £22.49, I think. Which, that's nice, a little saving there. But I wasn't expecting a discount with this, so hopefully, I'm sure it will be worth the money anyway, right? And I'm hoping that other people are able to take advantage of that discount. I know Steam had the pre-order discount of about, 10% as well? So, interesting thing there, interesting. But here we are, Glasgow Cathcart Circle. Full title being, the full title itself? Oh, we're starting. Has it reset the thingy? Has it reset the whole, automatically go on to it, play thingy? Maybe, and if it has, I don't know, I'll make do. There is a setting to turn off the automatic play thing. Nobody in the stream as of yet, but that is going to probably change. I mean, everyone's busy tonight, I'm going to be honest. It's a Wednesday pretty much for everybody who usually watches my stream. So, yeah, I'll put it in a couple of places and we'll see what we're doing.
Welcome to Train Sim World 2, an immersive and highly detailed rail simulation featuring authentic routes and trains from around the world.
Cheers, Matt. Matt Pedalston there. Okay, exit begin. We've already kind of done this.
You've just been awarded some action points.
Yeah, we
These
know.
are displayed in the top right corner of the screen and count towards your overall experience.
They do this every time.
It is necessary to be fully observant of the surrounding world. Practice by looking up, down, left and right.
Yeah, I did that. Oh, there. Would you like to invert your... No. No, I would not. Did I have it inverted anyway? Follow the markers to navigate the station.
This is one of many interactives to be discovered, but not all of them will be as easy to find as this one.
Yeah. I know you like to hide them, Matt. I know you do like your station thingy maps. You like those, don't you? And to be honest, I do as well. I mean, it's nice to put things around with, have collectibles be something a bit more than little miniature, basically trophies like in other games. Silly little things that don't have any purpose. Enter the cab. I will eventually, enter the, what's the Majika? It's on live chat on the thingy, so I've set that right.
A lot of time will be spent operating trains, so when ready, sit in the driver's seat.
Okay. I mean, this kind of gives it away, to be honest, because I wanted to do the tutorial first, but, I mean, this is technically a tutorial, but it's...
You can pause the experience at any point and review previous and current objectives. Check it out now, and then return to the gate when ready.
Yeah, I don't really view this as an important thing, to be honest. I think that they shouldn't...
A heads-up display has appeared on the right-hand side of the screen. This is a guide to what the train is doing.
I mean, I'm in two minds about this.
This is the speed display. The white needle shows current speed. The red marker indicates the maximum permitted speed.
This is basically just Train Sim World 101, right?
This is the direction display. An arrow will indicate forward, reverse, and neutral directions.
Which, no offence, I mean, I think people who are going to buy
This
this
is the power
DLC...
display. A number will indicate what position the power control is in.
I mean, thinking about it, you don't really need this because with the base game
These
you
are
already...
the brake indicators.
Okay.
They show the state of the various brake systems, allowing independent management of them.
I know that. Yeah, I know.
In the top right are the signal and speed limit displays. These feature an indication...
Right, I'm just going to talk over and hopefully you can hear what I'm saying and you can differentiate
Some of these displays can
me
be
with
via the
Matt.
settings menu
Right.
or
Oh, I can skip. That's nice. Train... Pull the train things towards you to get going. Oh. Yeah, I am pressing X to continue. Have I broken it? I did. I did continue. And I did pull the thing. Have I done it wrong? Because I imagine they would idiot-proof this, because it really is just Train Sim World 101. And if I'm being honest, you don't really need to plug this little tutorial in with every single route. I know what the purpose of this whole thing is. It's to introduce you to the route in a way that's easy for new people to understand. What I don't get is why... I mean, the base game does it. The base game has these sort of experience missions that you do. Game, have I broken you? By complete accident.
Glasgow Central is one of the major railway termini in Scotland, servicing commuter trains running around the Cathcart Circle line and connecting the surrounding areas of Neilston and Newton.
Oh, it's reset itself. So, this is on rails, is it? Literally on rails. Yeah, I am continuing.
This particular train is a Class 3 one.
Okay, yeah, yeah, it is broken, isn't it? That is... Ah, okay, one press. I don't like this bit because it usually tries to get stuck on this. It likes to do it anyway. Use left and right to move the thingy and then come back in. Yeah. What I don't like is the press X to continue is stuck, and I don't think that's gonna... I hope it doesn't impede our progress. Anyway,
You've only explored a small area.
Ah, thank goodness.
Let's take a look at what else
Right, show me a little cutscene.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Glasgow, Scotland's largest city with a rich history of shipbuilding, manufacturing, art and culture. Here you can experience the hustle and bustle of a modern suburban network using classic electric traction which links Glasgow's suburbs with the historic Glasgow Central Hub. Along the way, be sure to apply tourist posters, refill newspaper stands, place route maps and refill planters. Ferry commuters around the busy Circle line and to and from Newton and Neilston. Welcome to the Cathcart Circle line.
Yeah, Newton and Neilston are the other two stations that are on this route. They are basically like branch lines, almost. So let's continue. I hope when we start, I'm going to go and check that I've actually turned that sort of auto start thing off, because I absolutely cannot stand it. I think it's probably the most annoying thing about this game in general. Right. And that's not to say that the game is full of annoyances, it's the fact that it is definitely the most annoying thing there. I don't know why it's there. If I were to very quickly explain it, I mean, where are the options for a start? That's... Okay. So it won't do the automatic start, will it? Or will it? Game... The screen is very small for me. Right, and that's A, because I'm playing on a small TV, and B, because the stream kind of does it. The stream setup. Where is it? Auto load journeys. Yeah, off. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly how I want it. If you don't know what that auto load thing does, it basically means that whenever you come onto the game and you select anything, it will continue you from the previous thing that you were on. Kind of, not really. Which is interesting if that's exactly what you want to do, but if you don't want to do it, it will just force you there. And what I used to have to do before I figured out that you could turn it off is I went into it and then had to purposely back out, and then it would stop doing it. But let's do the tutorial for the class 314 because we haven't really learned much about it from there. That's kind of like the introduction, we just did that. Now the 314 tutorial, which, as from the stream that they did, is a lengthy one. So I'm going to be trying to talk between doing all this stuff and focusing entirely on what's going on. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I do hope that my stream is actually going through to people, because last time it did have some stuttering problems. Alright, Class 314 introduction. Hit me with it.
Welcome to driver training. Today you'll be taken through the operation of a Class 314 electric multiple unit in Scotland livery.
Ooh.
During this brief introduction, we'll go through the critical driving controls and passenger operations. When you're ready, climb aboard to get started.
Cheers, Matt. Isn't this lovely? Astonishing. Very well done. Yep. Step up.
Take a seat in the driver's position. This is where you'll be spending most of your time.
Yeah, it's very yellow in here, that's to come out the front. Don't want to do that. If you're claustrophobic, you probably won't like this cab.
To activate the control desk, insert the master key.
Yep. Neutral. Yeah. You know, in the stream, Matt said you should hold that for 5 seconds, but in the actual game, it doesn't tell you that you need to hold it for 5 seconds. So, if you're confused, hold it for 5 seconds. Right. Wait for the main reservoir to charge. Doesn't matter. Maze pantograph. And headlights and markers.
The reverser determines the direction of travel.
Pantograph is up. We have power and lights as well. Sounds lovely. Well done on the horn. I mean, to be quite honest, I'll explain why it is like it is. Take the brake off.
This train is now ready to depart. Use the throttle.
Put in 1. Smooth. Alright, so the Class 314 with Dovetail doing it, this is not all they're doing. Oh look, fan. That's awesome. But still, this is not all they're doing, because the sounds were done by Armstrong Powerhouse, right? And that is why they're so excellent.
Posting is a method used to efficiently maintain speed and reduce motor stress and maintenance requirements.
I have to say that AP does the
Keeping
best.
speed limit is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of brake by moving the train brake.
Don't worry,
We're
I
now
know.
going to perform a test of the emergency braking system.
Ooh,
Put the train brake into emergency.
so that's the last one, isn't it? Yeah. Wait for it to stop.
The emergency brake has been applied and the train will need to be recovered before continuing.
Yeah. Set the throttle to off, and then release.
Great work. Now let's get moving again.
Okay.
Nice job. We can now continue the journey to Glasgow Central.
Ooh, and can you hear that? I mean, because I kind of can't. Then again, I do have a mono headset, I guess. Is probably the correct term for it. It's just basically an earphone that goes into one of my ears, because my left earphones do not like it. By which I mean they don't actually like to fit in my left ear. I don't wear headphones because they just annoy me, and they do actually hurt after a while, so I just stick to what I've got. So that might be why I can't hear this. Right, if you can, that's fine, but I'm just saying that I can't. It's not as if I'm deaf in one ear, I can hear perfectly fine with both. If it shows up on the stream, I mean, I just wonder why that's the case. Yeah, here we go, off to Glasgow Central. Class C ones are obviously an electric train, electric EMU, electric multiple unit. Powered by a pantograph, because, you know, the original 313s, of which this is kind of like a sister unit, could use both DC third rail power, so you'd have a third rail that would have the electrification on it, and it could also use a pantograph. Whereas this one, it's 314, it's got the pantographs because I think 314s were exclusively used in Scotland. So this is what they had, you know, the pantographs.
You're now approaching Glasgow Central. Use the train brake to apply braking force and slow the train down.
I think step 2 is probably going to be the best in terms of braking power, because I've seen on stream that step 1 isn't, to be honest, that great. Ooh, give it a bit more. Cool. Awesome. I mean, all this looks fine to me. See a sun by the light. That's fine. I mean, I don't know if you need to use it often, but you can. AWS, I remember, is back there. We are slowly losing speed. There's AWS. Currently isolated. I'll turn that on when we start doing some real service stuff. And do forgive me, because I'm not going to be an expert with this thing to start with, so if I accidentally run away with it, can't control it super well, that's not because I'm just terrible, it's because I'm new to this. Wipers. Very irritating noises. I mean, step 1's alright for kind of gradually lowering your speed. Time for us to cruise a little bit more here. So, yeah, I mean, this would be £25 full price, and I think that's fine for the most part. I mean, you are getting a decent amount of stuff. I mean, one train, originally they probably would have included more than one, but because of time constraints they just didn't have the time to. That's not me making excuses, that comes directly from Dovetail. So it is what it is. Rear lights they're on. Nice. And we got a stop in such and such yards. Glasgow Central. Amazing. Gotta make sure that we're actually paying attention, or else I will run that red light. And something I don't like about this And if I make a side video to this stream, I mean later on, when I have more time with this thing, I'll be talking about this again, for those of you who don't watch streams. But essentially, I don't really like the fact that this has just A plastered on it. Now, it's supposed to tell you what end of the train you're on, right, and I guess that's useful. It's useful because usually they just turn these things around. They just, rather than turn the whole thing around, they just switch to the rear cab, right? And that's something that happens a lot on this route. Yeah, you want me to step 3? Okay.
Take a quick glance at the platform to ensure all is safe before unlocking the doors.
Glasgow Central Station. Very nice. Very cool. And left hand side.
To travel out of Glasgow Central, we'll have to change ends. Let's do this now while the passengers are boarding.
Cool. Tail lights. Off. Take out the master key.
With this cab shut down, head to the other end of the train and bring it into operation.
So there is no actual door here. You know, like in other trains you might have a door to get out of here, there is none, right? To get out of this cab, open that door and then you've got your 2 doors here. Apparently you can also use this. There you go. See? So that little switch there. Cool. Obviously in the ScotRail livery, which I'll mention as well that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. This is not a personal fact, this is not something that I knew coming into this is something that I learned from other people. So don't think that I know everything about trains, because I really do not. Master key, headlights on, and you want it in neutral.
Now we've changed ends and completed our passenger boarding, set the doors to locked.
Remember it's on the right now, because we're on the opposite end, and you can see B. So you're either on the A or the B side.
Proceed to the next stop at Pollokshields West, unguided this time, and see how you get on.
So the A and the B thing. At the other end it was A, this is B. It's showing you what end of the train that you're actually on. Which, in some ways, I can see is being helpful. You know, because what they do in reality with multiple units and things that have double-ended cabs is they just go to the other cab and then drive it out. You know, you drive into a space at a train station, then you can drive it back out from the other end. And I suppose that does make sense, but isn't it kind of obvious with which way you're facing out the windows? I mean, I guess at night time maybe it's difficult to see, but yeah, I'm just kind of... This to me is a bit cack, I'll be honest. It doesn't look like... It's characterful, but it's also a bit weird to me. Like, this is just what a B scrawled in Tipex. It's not an official, like, hard letter B or anything. It's not like been typed. It's been drawn. I'm just saying, with it being there, it looks a bit out of place because everything else is very clearly printed. You know, like it's supposed to be. It's a very minor thing. It doesn't really bother me as such. It's just like, okay, but is it really that useful to me? Let's take a look at the map though, because so here's the Cathcart circle. It's not really a circle, but on the map it looks like a circle. Because train route maps are kind of, there's a bunch of terms to describe different sorts of maps, especially in the railway sort of world, especially like the London Underground. Because the recent London Underground map is not geographically accurate, it's just a bunch of lines with the names of the stations on. It doesn't follow any geography or anything like that. It's mainly... it's like a sort of artist rendition. Right, it's taking a lot of liberties to make it simple for someone to use, except because it's not geographically accurate, you're kind of wondering, where's the Thames, why is it not the shape it is in real life? Is it because it's that confusing? It probably is. But in that same breath, you want things to be a bit more accurate. Honestly, right? And I think maybe the main rendition of this is kind of a bit like that as well. It's not actually kind of that. I'm speeding a bit. Nice. I should probably drop this in my server. Stuff at Pollock Shields West. Yeah? I can do that. But I'll drop this in my server so that people know I'm doing it. Even though, right, this is a very niche thing. This is a niche game. It's a train simulator. Not everyone's going to be interested in this, right? I think that's fine. I just think that watching it is a bit more interesting than playing it if you are someone who's just not interested in trains. And I found that as well. I mean, that is why I got into the whole franchise, if you will, in the first place. Because I watched a video of it and I thought, this is bloody amazing, I want to play this. And to be honest, playing Train Sim World 1 was a bit less interesting of an experience than it made out to be on video. But, I mean, it's an engaging thing. There's nothing really wrong with it. That's a double yellow, isn't it? It's a single yellow, but it's got two thingies. I probably overused the word thingy to describe things. I really should just learn the proper names. What works in this cab anyway? I think that's lighting control, maybe, for something. Speed up a bit. AWS. Everything's here that you need. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have an understanding about how this train actually works. And that is another question I have: where is the cab light and does it have one? That's a light up there, isn't it? It's a light bulb. Where the button is to turn that on, I'll look for it. Because I don't like playing in the dark. I mean, this cab is not going to be very good to look at night time because there is just no windows here at all, and I'm gonna overshoot. Ooh, there's the planters. The little steam train planters. Those are very nice. I like those. Those are collectible as well. You can kind of, if you're on foot.
Good work. That concludes all the basics of operating this train.
And they are at every single station as well, so I think they should be easy to manage. Go back to main menu, and then we'll do one of the services. But first, a small break for me, and I'll be right back. Alright, I've returned. I have indeed returned. Let's go to service mode, timetable. All these other ones, they do have services, you know. I've got these installed as the 66, 37/5, 31/1, and I think there might be another one that I just don't have installed. Yeah, those do have services on this route as well, they're just not really passenger services, I don't think. Fast 314 is the majority of what you're going to be seeing, at least at this point in time. Let's go with... You know, me and Rain, we kind of... Light rain... We'll give it some more rain. Right, I don't want to be slipping and sliding everywhere. That is something interesting that people might not know about. I'll explain that in terms of traction. Let's try something relatively simple. Glasgow Central to Newton, and do any of these kind of loop around? Glasgow Central, so it's literally there and back? Or is it moving away, moving... Let's do Glasgow to Newton at 7 in the morning. Let's do that one. Just having a drink. So, I said earlier that the delivery is technically not really correct. Now, there are 314s, or there have been 314s in the ScotRail livery, that much is for certain. The only issue with that is only some of them had this livery. The vast majority of them had the SPT livery, which is Strathclyde Partnership for Transport. Carmine and cream are the colours, so kind of like a maroony red and a yellow and a cream as well. And you know, both of them look really nice. I wouldn't mind either one, it's just that this is the one they decided to go with. And what the doors? Master key needs to be in for a start. I'm not going to try and keep to time. Reverser probably needs to be neutral. Doors open on the left. Brakes. Brakes just on by default because of the doors, I think so. Now, AWS I'm turning on. There's your sunflower. Lovely. Very weedy sounding alert there. Now where is the actual lights? Closed doors up there. TP whatever override. We don't want that. Vent. Wow, you can open that vent. That's actually, I didn't know. DSD, I don't want that on. That's essentially if you get up out of your seat, it will automatically put on the brakes. I'm just wondering, where is the light on here? Interesting question. Is there a cab light in here? Because that's a light bulb, but where is the actual switch for it? Weird. Destination light is on, yeah. We do want the headlights and marker lights. And is it actually raining? Yes, it is. Marvellous. Some rain for you there. On slow. That noise is going to get very irritating, isn't it? Very, very irritating indeed. Where's the indicator dimmer? Cab lights. Oh, hello. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Designating, yep. Headlights. What does that mean? Okay. I can't read that because I'm too far away. Is there a dimmer on these things, or is it actually dimmed? Cab lights indicate a dimmer. Ah, there you go. Awesome. We're getting to grips with this thing, we are, slowly but surely. And that is the way to go. And we're using a 3-car unit. Nice. Board is not on at the back. I probably should have put that on. But we've got Neilston as our destination, as it should be. Now, as far as other details with this train goes, there is a very, very, very similar train that is going to be coming soon, and that is the Class 313, and that's going to be for East Coast Way. That's going to be a DLC locomotive, so you are going to have to pay for it when it comes out. But, hello, welcome Danny to the stream. I'm just driving the 314, which is... I may have shown you some pictures of it, but here it is. Thanks AWS. And yeah, only here for a little bit, no problem. No problem. Hopefully you're well today and everyone else is well as well. Thank you AWS, you already told me. Lovely. Stop at Pollock Shields East, will do. That wiper is going to get insanely annoying, isn't it? Do I just want to turn that off? There's a part of me that really wants to. Go for about 15 miles an hour as we come in. Yeah, thanks camera. Don't come to a halt yet. So interestingly enough, you can have the brakes and the throttle on at the same time. So remember that. Let's have a quick look around this thing. Do you have any internal... No, we don't. We don't have any internal passenger information stuff. And there's the rest of the train. Pretty much the same thing all the way along. Wait until blah blah time. Well, should be... I guess the other passenger display things, but Here's some lovely new ones. And I know that we are going to be a bit late, but I don't mind that because this is just to show you what's going on. Use the cab door, yeah. What an amazing thing I've just done there. Totally worth earning some points for that, isn't it? Right, is there anything else that I can earn points on just to get it out of the way? Lock the doors. There's the fan. It's a real fan as well. Ah, proper announcements. Cool. Take that. I'm turning the wiper off. Don't really want it on. Lovely. I mean, what I've covered is pretty much everything you need to know about this train, but the very similar one that's coming out soon, the 313, that one operates slightly differently. And they were speaking about this in the stream that they were doing, Dovetail that is. And I imagine they're going to be doing one tomorrow about the release of this DLC, but I've got to it early because I'm a night owl and I can stay up whatever time I want to. So I got pretty much the launch of this midnight on June the 10th or the 9th, whichever one you want to call it, when it stops being the 9th and goes on to the 10th. Thank you. We missed that. I wasn't paying attention.
Security personnel tour the station 24 hours.
Can't really hear much. Let me just turn my... Next stop is Cross Hill, Coolio. Now I did actually get a comment on one of my earlier videos talking about Glasgow. It was basically not really about the video itself, it was more to do with something I did during the video. I basically started the engine at the start of the video. What happens is if I know how to start and stop the engine on any of the trains that I'm actually driving, I like to start with the engine off for a video and then act like it's the beginning. Train Sim World will automatically kind of have the engine started for you. And I just think the process of turning on the engine whilst it's, you know, getting ready to start going for the day, I just think that's engaging. To me it's just more engaging, it makes you feel like you're a real driver. Like starting the train up is your responsibility, like it would be in real life. And so I just find that to be a more interesting aspect. 4 yards away, but that's alright. Nice. And fast is even worse than slow. I'm going to keep it slow. If I have to have the wipers on, that's how I'm going to do it. I have been tempted to try this on the keyboard because the keyboard would give me a bit more of features as far as stuff that I can do. Take off the brakes and get moving. Anyway, the similar Class 313, I've tried to say this about multiple times, but it has a different... I suppose it's a gearbox technically, it has a different throttle system. So, the 313 uses off shunt, parallel, no, off shunt, series and then parallel for, you know, not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This thing just has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 313 will have a different, you know, throttle system than this one. It will also be using third rail power because that's what's available on the East Coast way. Which is, you know, different. It makes it stand out from this one. Despite them being very similar looking trains, it's not just like a reskin, it's not like a reshell. It's like, they are different. More than just appearance wise and livery wise in the game. They function exactly the same, they're both passenger trains. But in terms of little differences, there are some differences there that are worth noting. Can we slow down in time? Do I want to be in step 3? Why not? The passengers just won't complain about how fast I brake. We're late anyway, it doesn't really matter. You can even hear the, well, the motors, I guess. I think there's supposed to be a compressor as well, that you can hear sometimes. No, to be honest, I can't hear it now, so don't know when that's supposed to be on or off. It's me letting stuff out of the brakes. Cathcart platform 2. Don't really know how far away we are from the end of this, but in this route you are going to get 20 miles of track you can actually drive on, which is nice. It's a decent amount, and I might try and do this in Scenario Planner so I can get a feel as to how it's going to work, because there are branch lines here, so I don't know how that's going to translate into the Scenario Designer mode. Another 314. Of course, I could do line high and low horns if I had a keyboard. But on controller, pressing L3 will do this. Usually just the high or the low. Can't really hear it there myself, but maybe you can. Lovely. And the passengers of course get on board. The rain effects are apparently something the team were quite proud of. I mean, I think they've got a decent reason to. This looks a bit weird? Is that meant to be like you filled it in? Hmm. You know, the rain puddles on the actual station itself. That's something they apparently tried to do pretty well. I think they succeeded in that. I'm turning that off. Can't be bothered listening to the wipers. Might as well just have a rainy windscreen, or a windshield, as you know, American viewers will probably call it. Yeah, all's fine with this so far. Can't really see anything to complain about personally. And I usually don't like to complain about things. And there are stuff in life that just, you know, there's stuff in life that's annoying to me, obviously, but here I can't really see anything to fault. Nothing seems to be wrong at all. I mean, the sounds are just fantastic. They're done by Armstrong Powerhouse. They're gonna be fantastic. That's a guarantee. Dovetail implemented them very well. The looks of the train are, well, spot on from the pictures that I've seen. Delivery, I mean, that's the only thing that's really out of place here, is delivery just doesn't match the time period. Even when these things were nearing retirement, I don't think they painted them all in the ScotRail livery. Whereas in the game, they're exclusively in ScotRail livery, which, you know, doesn't match up. There's nothing really wrong with that unless you're really obsessed with historical accuracy. I know I'm not, but for people who think it's going to be very out of place, then obviously that's going to be an issue. But that's the only real thing that I can think of that's wrong here. It's easy to drive as well. I was worried that it might not be, because I looked at it and I saw that it had air brakes. And I thought, is this going to be like the air brakes that are found in most of the trains in the game, where it's a little bit awkward, rather than electric brakes, because electric brakes will just do the job. But these are obviously using air, as you can hear when I'm releasing them and putting them on. I did just set into emergency. I shouldn't have done that. Just do a reset. But no, nothing that I can think of to complain about. But when are we actually going to reach Neilston? That's a good question. We're going down, and so Neilston is over here then. But I'm pretty sure on the map it was kind of like that. Maybe I saw something different. Or is it a case where it's not geographically accurate? Maybe one of the two. But we are definitely heading in towards this direction, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Alright then. We can still see, can't we? I mean, that's just an annoying sound, isn't it? Turn them off. So are those powered by air as well? It seems that it is. Because you can hear kind of like a hissing of the air. That was one of the things that did annoy me about the Class 31. Because the Class 31 and, no. Is it the 31 or is it the 37 that I'm thinking of? I think it's the 37 that has the definitely air-powered windscreen wipers. Which you'd think to yourself, is that really annoying? Well, you basically just hear a constant hiss of air powering the actual wipers all the time. And you're just wondering, why is it not electric? Because it's a diesel electric train, it's got some electricity to give. Surely it can power, wipers. Surely this one could power wipers, but apparently that's not something the manufacturers thought of. At least with that version. Perfect. Doors open very nicely. Good effects on the surface of the station here. Nice looking stuff all around. Ticket machine. I mean, don't think you can actually do anything with this, but it's there for detail. These boards look very nice. Yeah, what more could you want? It's even got in... now I pronounce it Gaelic, alright, and it used to be pronounced Gaelic, end of story, and that's how I'm going to be pronouncing it. I know some people say, oh, it's Gaelic. Is it really Gaelic? So why have we been saying Gaelic this whole time? Even people who are Scottish say Gaelic. That's the language of sort of Scotland and Ireland, the native, sort of the tribal language, if you will, that's been passed down throughout history. Like, the Welsh use the Welsh language. It's not really a language that many people speak anymore, because it's predominantly just English now across the whole United Kingdom. But just have the signs in Gaelic for any people who do speak Gaelic and respect the language, and I pronounce it as Gaelic, end of story. If you think it should be pronounced Gaelic, well, one thing, why have you been telling people to pronounce it Gaelic all these years? And two, does it really matter? If you're going to let people from overseas say, tomato rather than tomato, why would you moan about somebody saying Gaelic instead of Gaelic? I don't even understand why it's supposed to be Gaelic in the first place. Because that to me would indicate that it's supposed to be spelt G-A-L-L-I-C. But Gaelic is spelt G-A-E-L-I-C. I don't know, I'm just going to say it's the native language, I guess. Right, if you don't like the way I say Gaelic or Gaelic or whatever you want to call it this week, tough luck, I suppose, because that's how it used to be said on television. And this isn't like a Mandela effect thing, at least I hope it isn't. I hope, because everyone's just suddenly started saying Gaelic out of nowhere. Like, who decided? Who complained? That's what I'm saying. Because when people say the Welsh language, they don't insist that you say, is it Cymru? Cymru, the actual the name of the Welsh language in Welsh? Or is that just the name of the country? I think it's maybe both. But no one insists on that. Whatever it is, it's written there, right? That's White Craigs, or Crags, it's probably Crags.
Ticket checks are in operation at this station. Please have your ticket ready for inspection.
It's a real Scottish lady doing it, by the way, that came in at the last minute apparently. Yeah, there's White Crags, I suppose that's Crags, or Craigs. And Cregan Ban, whatever, however you're supposed to say it. That's the Gaelic or Gaelic, if you want to call it that, language. CCTV in operation. That's in full English though. Car stop number 3. I mean, yeah. Sweet. Brakes are off. Let's get moving again. But I like what we've got here. Lovely rain effects. Look, that to me is good detail. Like the way that the water kind of reflects everything above it like it would do in real life. That's a cool detail. Something they didn't need to do, but they decided, yeah, let's put some effort into that. Visually this looks nice. I mean, I know I've got it in the rain, I know it's going to be gloomy, but visually this does look nice. Has to be said. And you know, there's just this bit alone to me, this is one of the major selling points of train simulation that's done well, because you get details like that. Now any other train simulator that doesn't care about details would simply just have it on a white sign with a white background and maybe have it glow in the dark and not bother to show that it's an actual 3D element. Right, you can see that the light doesn't reach all the way around, that's because it doesn't. And it's discoloured as well, because it's an old train. These were originally built in the late 70s, continued on into the very early 80s with building, I think 79 to 1980. And these are old trains, and they've been going on for a long time now. And, you know, you get wear and tear, like here. It's not perfectly all the same colour. It's like, this colour, it's got bits that are kind of worn away. Why exactly they've worn away on that, because no one's really going to be touching that, but still, you know, it's wear and tear. The details are impressive. If you really look close at them, you'll notice that they're kind of low res. But that's just the way things are on consoles. You can't have that kind of detail without some sacrifices, otherwise it will take up so much hardware, just take so much effort to display, that in the end of it all you're not going to have the ability to do anything else. So yeah, the level of detail here is very good, in my opinion. I know there's going to be some people out there who say, oh, but this isn't there, and this is out of place, and this is da. But realistically speaking, how realistic do you want it? Because if you want it so realistic it's like driving in real life, you might as well just become a train driver. Or try and make a simulator for yourself, because you're just not going to get ultra realism here. Even with something like VR. I don't even know if this game could ever support VR. I'm getting up to unplug my laptop from the charger because I do not want to ruin the battery. Because I recently paid for a new one. And that was relatively expensive. It was like £25, but still. I mean, I don't want to ruin it so early. But yeah, the passenger announcements, they have a lady with a Scottish accent, like they would have in real life. Just, you can't deny, whilst playing this, even if you do have 1,000,001 problems with it personally, you can't deny that they've at least put effort into it, because do you know anyone else? Do you know any other train simulators that would probably want to put this much detail in? Armstrong Powerhouse, yeah, they do great work, but they do enhancement packs, and they're only on PC. I'm talking about console stuff exclusively. Is there anyone else who will put that level of detail into it without moaning and groaning, oh, it was very difficult, oh, we're so tired, oh no, please don't get angry, we worked so hard on this. No. They just do it. Yeah, it's not always smooth sailing, but overall they've done very well. I mean, these phones, can't do anything with them, but why would you want to? I mean, I think these are basically for communicating with, I don't know, the head office, kind of like a signalman, I guess. And yeah, they're not functional, but would it matter if they were functional or not? To me, not really. What's speed 4 like? Is he standing? Are they supposed to be standing? That is interesting. I mean, you can stand on trains, you can stand in the sort of aisle area, I guess, if the train is kind of full, but it's not full, so why are you doing that? Are you doing it because you want to get off at the next station? In which case, that's interesting if that's the case, because I don't remember ever seeing that before. It's got handrails, obviously, in the passenger carriage and what have you. 15 miles an hour past Neilston, yeah. Because after Neilston, there's kind of like a turnaround area where you can just basically stop the train, go to the other end and drive it out in the other direction, which is, for some certain services and certain scenarios, you'll be doing stuff like that. Which is, realistic. There aren't any 6-car services though, at all, in this game. I mean, there's maybe one in a scenario that's an exception, but other than that, they weren't able to work those into the timetable. That to me is fine, but to some people that might be an issue. I mean, your opinion is your opinion. I just wish that hiss of air was just a bit quieter. Can I see it's coming from there? I just wish that was quieter, or just not noticeable, or just not there at all, maybe, because yeah, it's detailed to have that hiss of air if you hear it in real life, but should it really be as loud as that? Not on fast mode, is it? Is it meant to do that? Meant to kind of stop? Button slow. That's kind of a very steady left, right, left, right, left, right. But fast is kind of... It's kind of left, right, stuck, left, right, stuck, left, right, stuck. It's supposed to be like that? I don't know, it just doesn't... It starts out alright and then it kind of... Alright. Would be nice if that... Yeah, the hiss of air... It does get on my nerves a bit, because... Do you really need to hear it that loudly? I know the wipers are, I can kind of see them. And I can also hear them. I mean, it going back and forth like that is annoying enough with the sounds, but to have the air hissing all the time, do you really need that in your life? So the braking. Now either the braking just doesn't work properly, it's not registering properly, and I keep moving down to select the speedometer, but it doesn't actually, it's not something I can actually, you know, thingy, if that makes any sense. If you look at where the 0 is, and now it's gone to 1 because that's in throttle mode and all that, right? On other trains, usually when it brakes, it'll have a red sort of number there, and show you what step it's in, I guess. We're in braking step 1 just then, and it didn't come up red, so to know when you're braking you have to look at the cylinder display, the green area. There's like a green thing and a red one. The red one I think has stuff in the reservoir. AWS. That works nicely though. As it should, because it's a safety system. Go for a final outside view as we stop at Neilston. We are astonishingly about 8 minutes late to that. But that doesn't matter because I wasn't aiming for perfection. This was kind of like a demonstrate the 314 in a real situation. Oh. Okay, that was weird. Then again, I've seen other trains do that, so this is not like a specific thing with this one. And there we go. 38 minutes. Is that a gold medal? Even though I was incredibly late, does it matter about lateness to get the gold medal? Suppose maybe it depends on score, but yeah, I'll take a small break as well. Just right now. And we'll see how it handles in scenario designer mode on a random route of our choosing. Although also I do want to quickly check how does it look. So tools, scenario designer, just as a random thing. So it's got Glasgow Central 4, it's got 10, 4, 9, so we've got 4 platforms in Glasgow that we can use. That's good. Neilston platform 1, just 1. Port Shields East 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Is it supposed to have 1 Port Shields East 1, 2, 1, 2? Okay. West. And now the other one was William Wood, Neilston to, what was the other one? Newton? Yeah. So Glasgow Central has 4 different things you can use. That's to... so that loops back around. Okay. So platform 10 loops around a circle. That one goes Port Shields East via Port Shields East via Port Shields West. So either go down one end of the circle or you go around the other end and then you get to Port Shields. Okay. And route number 8. Platform 8 goes to Neilston. So they can see kind of how it progresses. And where does platform 9 end up? It goes to back to Glasgow Central. Okay, now when we do that, does it then select all of them like that? But if we were to just have it like that, oh, so would we have to go all the way around? I think we would have to be honest. Alright, there's a lot of stations though you can stop at, so this is definitely a very station heavy experience. What bother with that? Let's try taking it on another route for a bit. But yeah, we will do that. But I'll be right back, and then we'll see what we're going to do next. Alright, I've returned. I've got some mango juice now, which is actually not very sweet, I have discovered. Usually it's much sweeter than that. Usually they put a little bit of sugar in at least to kind of pep it up a little bit, but anyway. West Somerset Road, no, because to be honest that's not really... Let's go with East Coast Way. All reliable East Coast Way, and I'll turn off the rain because we don't need that. We really don't need it. Oop, I gotta go. No problem. You can go if you want. Thank you for coming. And I'll keep streaming. I'll keep streaming and doing stuff. sounds okay by me. Thank you for stream. You're welcome. You're most welcome. We'll go from. So we'll start at Seaford and then we'll go to Brighton. Which I've done before, I know, but make it so that we stop at in between, like we're here in town, probably not. However you say that, Mulsicum, however you say that. Right, and then we'll go, where is the class 314? Good question. It's on it, there it is. ScotRail. Can it 6 car or 3 car? We'll have 3. Play service, yep. This'll be a good test. Passenger, yeah, we'll do that. Off the rails, good. It'll just be us. Oh, I deleted, oh. That's not good. That's not good. Seaford again to Brighton. New Haven Harbour will stop out. Lewis will stop out. How do you say that? I've done this. I should really have the handle on this now. SSSSS. I've just named it that because why not? G. That has no significance. 314. Yeah, 3 car loaded. Passenger and player. And then start. I just name them random things. They're really just not worth thinking about naming. And also the naming thing itself doesn't actually really matter. New subscriber, 2 new subscribers recently. Huh. So people do actually watch my videos. Cool. Who is this new? No. They seem a legit person. Yeah, I think these are legit accounts. I've had a look. Seem pretty legit to me. Right, let's begin. Seaford all the way to Brighton. Classic journey. Tail lights are on for a start. Change those. Destination board. Won't show anything, I'll be honest. Headlights and markers. What is that? Headlights, beams, reserve, normal and reserve. Normal beam, reserve beams. I don't know, we'll have to see about that. Can we actually raise the pantograph? No. Does it just not do it in scenario thingy? Doesn't really matter because it's off the rails. It will still work. But indicator dimmer high. Want that on. Wipers are off. Master key. And then turn on the AWS. Unlock the doors on the right. Cool. Sand button, in case you wanted that. Uncouple and couple. I believe that there's one here for lighting set. Use the train lights, they're on, and then lighting trip is to turn them off. Yep, so lighting set turns them on. it should. Ah, there you go. Hold it down a bit. And it should work. Fan. Yeah, it's probably a hot day. Window down. Get the full noise experience. Into forward. Give it some power. And we're away. All is well in the world. Getting a second man seat there. Equipment cutout, I'm not going to touch that. Guards key, that's to operate that panel. Not to do it like that. So if this train had a guard, they would use that panel. Let's give it some welly. Full power. Nice. I don't even remember how long this thing is. How long is it? Let's press start. 63.8 yards, is that each thing? Or is it the whole thing? Might be the whole thing. It'd be nice if this is a really short train, because it means I can use it on many routes with short platforms, or relatively short. Fan's nice, I mean, detail on that's pretty good. And you can just turn it off. Come to a stop, turn it back on. What's not to like with that? An actual physical fan that you can see. That is cool. What else have we got? We got cab lights obviously down here. If we wanted those. That is signal bell. Sand. Seen that. Raised pantograph. Doors closed left, and then for the right ones you got there. If you want to operate it like that, I usually just use the D-pad, but if you wanted to press the actual buttons, there they are. And we've reached our maximum speed as well, as indicated by the trophy that I've just got. And the black box that comes up in the stream, because it doesn't display things like that on the actual console. Really testing these brakes. Lovely. So the brakes work fine. I did see some of them standing while we were doing the service mode. Don't know if they're meant to do that or not. Maybe, maybe not. There's what it looks like on the inside. There's us. Or whoever your character is in the game. They'll be like that. I don't really like these models, I'll be honest, that they're using for the drivers, because they do just look all dead, you know. I also wish I could change mine to something more interesting, maybe like a female driver. Just like change it up a bit, because seeing the same guy over and over, I mean, I picked this one, yeah, but he doesn't look a thing like me. Next stop is Lewis. Like I said, if you are claustrophobic, you are not going to enjoy this cab, because you are basically in a metal box, right? And that's not really a terrible thing. It's just that when you look at other footage of the 314 and 313 as well, there's usually like a fire extinguisher here when you look at the train simulator versions. But this one doesn't have one. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why get rid of that? I mean, yeah, it's kind of in the way a little bit. At least it looks like it gets in the way, but I'm pretty sure it's not that bad. So it's kind of like a cool thing to see. Might get on your nerves eventually. Oh, bloody fire extinguisher there again. But still, find it weird, you know, why did they take that out? Is it because this is what they're like now? Is it a new specification? Is it unsafe to have a fire extinguisher in the cab with you? I don't know. One thing is for sure, it's just not there. Meant to be on this wall. Is that a bad thing? Not really. Just an interesting detail to note that the other versions of the 314 in other sim simulation games seem to have a fire extinguisher there. Let's give it some welly. Why not? You only really live once. And I think this is a relatively short train. So hopefully that means I can use it on a bunch of other routes as well. Pretty nice any more AWS things. Don't know. Get rid of that from the windows, I mean, that sounds good. Coming out the window there. And our max speed in this thing is 70, I think. Oh, 75. Yeah? So why did it say to the max then? Have I driven it a certain number of miles? I was at 70 miles an hour and apparently that's supposed to be its whistle board. Apparently 70 miles an hour is supposed to be its limit. But according to that board up there, it's supposed to be 75. Either way, I got a trophy. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not really aiming to get loads of trophies for this game. But yeah, I'm thankful. I've got something. Don't seem to be gaining much speed though. Section throttle 4. Guess you have to be in throttle 4 to really gain some speed here. Whistle board. I'm not going to bother lowering my speed, because it'll just go right back up. There we go. It's 1:57 in the morning as of right now, so I've been streaming for 1 hour and 37 minutes, and that is much longer than I thought I'd be able to do, because I'm just going to be honest, YouTube sometimes decides it wants to throw a fit and just not let me stream at all. Yeah, that'll be annoying. So there is somebody I thought I could drop the stream link to. Let me see if they want to watch it. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Come on, Discord, don't cause me problems. I'm doing this one-handed. Controller in one hand, other hand on the laptop. I need you to be fine with that. Please, thank you. Oh yeah, there is someone else as well that I could invite as well. I'll just leave them the link. Naturally, everyone's welcome to my streams. I don't mind who comes, and if someone doesn't, or whatever. Thank you, AWS. Hello, welcome, Lissaran Thistle. Oh, yeah, that's correct, isn't it? I hope so. I'm taking this thing. 314. You'd missed the actual Glasgow section of it, but I might return to it near the end of the video once I'm finished doing this. So I'll show that off a little bit. Slow down. I'm just testing it out on the East Coast way just to see how easy I can get used to this, how easy it is for me to get used to this thing, because I am pretty much new to it, has to be said. Have I got an actual message? Yes, I have. Somebody hoped that I did well with my stream. Okay, that's good. It's nice of them. And I'm just basically dropping the link in a bunch of places at the moment to see if we can get this more populated. Everybody who I wanted to come, realistically, is usually busy around this sort of time. And that's fine, but I just wish that, you know, because I can't really stream much past 3 o'clock, because that's getting dangerously close, because at least in the UK, I mean, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's summertime, and the mornings are extremely light. It's basically like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning at 4, it looks that way. And that just looks a bit weird. But also, it's, well, with the sunlight streaming through the windows, just don't want to wake anyone up, you know? I have to talk during my streams and all that sort of stuff. And overall, I'd rather not wake anybody up with doing YouTube stuff. So it would be nice to have some freedom, my own place eventually. I do have it. I would say it's exciting news. This is incredibly cool. The fan, that's incredibly cool. But I do have some pretty exciting news for myself anyway. someone who's very near and dear to me may be coming over in, well, I hope in August, right? And that basically, oh, I just remembered, right? Stupid thing on the news, right? I remember this. On the news they're talking about changing the constituencies for voting in the UK, at least in the sort of West Yorkshire area where I'm actually living. And to me that's just an incredibly stupid move. It doesn't make any sense, and it will probably confuse a lot more people than it helps. The idea is they're supposed to be getting the numbers in each constituency to be equal, but trying to do that is like trying to wash your feet with your, trying to change your, I don't know, there's a term I'm missing. It's like trying to brush your hair using your feet. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to work out as well as you think. Not that anyone thinks that that will work well, but you get the point. It's just not going to work out. It will just confuse people, and you know, for all intents and purposes, if you want to even the numbers out in each constituency, you're going to have to be pretty patient, because when you add two constituencies together, you are obviously increasing the amount of population in that one area. However, what you're also doing is you're kind of relying on it to stay roughly the same, but people move out and move into new areas all the time, right? And that's a common thing to do. That's a common thing for the younger generations to do, is to move very often. You know, gone are the times when your parents would stay in the same house for years and years and years, and then their children would stay in that house for years and years. Gone are those days. So now everyone's just moving around. So the numbers are not going to stay the same, and therefore I just think it's a bit of a waste of time and effort, and probably money as well, spending to do all the paperwork. But hey, if that's what they want to do. But the exciting thing is that my boyfriend might try and come over to the UK for a little visit. And the last time I checked, if you are a US citizen, you do get basically 6 months visa-free stay in the UK. Now obviously you can't just work, right? You can't just come here under those pretenses that you're on a holiday and then just start working and think that no one will notice, because believe me, they will. I haven't got a problem with people from other countries coming into the country to live here and to work here, but if it's not legal, it means that everyone who's involved is going to get into a hell of a lot of trouble. So if you are going to come here for a holiday, make sure it's for a holiday. I know we're not a premier destination for holidays, but still, if you are coming for any reason, if you're a United States citizen, you'll get 6 months of free stay here without needing a visa. And obviously your accommodation, that's separate, that's something you have to pay for anyway, but still, it's pretty neat. But yeah, don't try and do any working things here, don't try and like pretend that you're here on holiday when you're actually not, because then you'll get into trouble. Just saying. But yeah, he might be able to come over, and if he does, that'll be fantastic. You know, I'm really looking forward to it, but I still don't know how that's going to go down. We're thinking about renting a hotel room for a while. I mean, I don't know how long he can really stay. Probably be a return flight ticket. I don't know how long of a time frame you get before you have to return on the flight, but I'm just thinking it's exciting and I really want it to work out. I haven't even thought about how he's going to get from the airport to here. Yeah, you take a taxi usually is what people would do, but I need to tell him what taxi companies even operate, and I need to make sure he has the money to pay for that. So, yeah. I suppose I could book one and then meet him there, but I don't know, just depends what's happening. There really is a lot of stuff to think about. You'd think, oh, this is going to be so easy. Well, turns out that not everything is straightforward. Am I braking? I'm not, so why am I not gaining much speed here? Okay, now I am. Cab light. Cab light. Where are you? By the time I find it, it'll be... It's there. It's there. Need to start slowing down. Like I say, I'm not a perfect driver in this game. When all's said and done, cab lights on, because why not? When all's said and done, I'm not perfect at driving in this game, and I'm not going to pretend that I am. Maybe after a long time practicing I'll get used to doing it perfectly, but I doubt that'll happen. I don't think that being perfect at this game is anything really worthy of learning how to do. Just have fun. That's the whole point of playing video games, is to have fun doing something. And, oh, emails. I've got emails. Oh, someone else is streaming live on an art thing. I go to it, it's just that I'm doing this right now, so yeah. And to be honest, I really do a whole lot when I'm watching art streams. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, unless it's somebody that I actually know personally and that I can interact with during the stream, I'm not particularly interested in constantly watching what they're doing. Like, I'll usually do another thing and have it on in the background, which I guess is what a lot of people do. The only trouble with that is my laptop being ancient, it cannot really cool itself down very easily, and so it sounds like a jet engine whenever it's playing things like streams. It really does a number on it. And one of these days I'm afraid it's gonna, I don't know, blow out its own fan. Its own cooling fan. And I know at one point I thought, oh, I'll get one of those cooling device thingies. It's like a stand. Except I kind of forgot to spend money on that. And at one point I do want to get myself a PC, but that is a goal for when I'm actually working, you know, earning a lot of money, because let's just be honest, I can't afford, in order to save up for like a PC at the moment, I wouldn't be able to get in anything else that I wanted or needed. So yeah, it's going to be a thing for when I'm working, which will hopefully be soon when I get vaccinated, because they haven't started on my age group yet, which is a really stupid decision, because the younger... This is what I don't understand about the vaccinations. Oh great. Put into emergency by accident. Let's do a quick reset. This is what I don't really understand about it. They decided to do the... I think they kind of should have... I'm not going to say they should have done the younger people first, because the people who are older are definitely more at risk of serious complications when it comes to the virus. So I get why they were vaccinated first. However, the youngest people are going to be the ones that are, you know, working. So the people who were vaccinated first were actually of retiring age. They were of the age that they no longer work. They're vulnerable, but they no longer work. So if we need people to build the economy back up, we need the people who are working to be vaccinated in order to actually make that happen. Because let's just face it, if you're opening things again and you've got like a 20-year-old behind the counter of like a restaurant or a supermarket store or something, then they're not vaccinated. And youngest people are actually to blame for spreading it the most. Because the younger you are, I believe, the more chance of it being asymptomatic. Younger people usually don't show any symptoms. The ones that do show symptoms, well, most of them I'd say would self-isolate. But with that being said, if you're asymptomatic, you just don't know that you've got it. And it's the younger generation, the younger population that are actually responsible for spreading the majority of it around in lockdown situations and also when it starts to open again. Excuse me, and I'm coughing, but that's not because of coronavirus. Right? Definitely not nothing to do with that. Promise you that. Because I'm a very, very careful person. I'm even more careful than I think I should be, really. But, you know, taking everything into perspective, if someone in any situation is not vaccinated, it's going to cause a knock-on effect. So the real reason why this is such a, I'm going to say such a danger, it is really a danger. The reason why this is a pandemic is because not everybody is vaccinated. There are still going to be some cases. Though the problem is that we've recently just come out of that lockdown phase. Right, and this is, I think, the third time that they've imposed lockdown. Maybe even the second. I honestly don't remember, because the years living under this pandemic has been... Put the window back up. They've been just a blur. I mean, I can't even remember how many times we've been in lockdown. I think it's 3 times now. Maybe even more. The issue is that the government opens it too bloody soon. And I have actual evidence to prove that had we stayed in lockdown for about, I don't know, about 3 or 4 more weeks, we might have been on like less than 5 cases a week. Right? I know that's an exaggeration, I know it sounds difficult to believe, but trust me, the data that we had suggested that whilst we were still in lockdown, cases were indeed going down, and they were going down quite quickly towards the end. However, some idiot decided at that very moment, I'm going to use a phrase which probably no one else has heard, I smacked into the thing. Oh dear. That was a bit stupid of me. But I'm going to use a phrase that probably no one else has heard before. We almost killed its pig, which is another way of saying we almost did it. Like, we almost conquered coronavirus. And then some idiot decided, no, let's open the country back up again because, you know, we're on such low cases now, I'm sure it won't go up. Oh wait, it did, and that caused the second lockdown like a month later at the most, right? I don't even think it was a month before we were back into it. So you basically just wasted time. You got everyone's hopes up, everyone went outside and then started spreading it around again. Before you knew it, you were in another situation where you had to close things down. Let's do a scenario. So basically, yeah. We'll go back to Glasgow Central. We'll go just a few stations, I think. Keep on driving this thing. Keep on getting that practice. So yeah. And that's what really annoyed me. Because we almost did it, the cases were so low. They were like less than 10 a week, and then we decided, oh, let's open it up again, and oh, what do you know, we fucked it. We've messed it up. Hooray for us. So we've basically gone back to square one. I'm going to tell you, this is according to the WHO, the coronavirus cannot last more than 2 weeks without it, even living inside someone, even using them as a host. The coronavirus can't survive more than 2 weeks. Like, under regular conditions. If you shove it in a deep freezer at the right temperature, I suppose you can preserve it for future studies, I suppose. But when it comes down to it, lag XO, hi, welcome. But if you start that again. Coronavirus can't last more than 2 weeks on any surface, in any single situation. So, if you had a complete lockdown for 2 weeks, as in nobody is leaving their homes, and it is possible to make this happen. As many people as... You'll probably get people saying, oh, we can't do that, or that's not right, we can't do this, you can't make sure that everyone's fed and watered. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because usually in situations like this, you can make it so that people have enough to survive on. You've got the infrastructure. The country is not that big. In comparison to something like the United States, it's not that big. And you've currently got a military that's not doing anything. They're not doing anything. They're not fighting anywhere in the world, I don't think, at this point in time. Lock the doors. I will. I have. So they're not doing anything, and actually what they were doing is they were providing some emergency aid to people recently. So why can't they just, for people who really need food and don't have enough, why don't they just give them food parcels? Because that's what we've been doing for, you know, people who are parents who have children at home, who need to feed their children, who don't have any income anymore because they can't go back to work. So we give them food parcels, and that let them, you know, survive. It might not be food that they actually want, but it's stuff to survive. You know, if you kept everybody inside completely for 2 weeks, coronavirus will be dead overnight, because it can't survive longer than 2 weeks under any circumstances. Close down flights, don't let anyone leave their homes, keep everyone inside, they'll be fine. Because, no offence, people have been inside their homes scared out of their wits before for much longer than 2 weeks. People have survived indoors for much longer than 2 weeks in history. There have been other instances where people have had to stay indoors for whatever reason. We can do that. If we can go however many months in lockdown without going out every other day, then we can stay inside for 2 weeks and just not leave the house. That's how you kill off a disease overnight. That's how you force it to happen. Because this whole lockdown but letting people go out at certain times kind of thing, the case rate dropping is just not fast enough for anyone's liking. Yes, it's an extreme solution. Yes, you probably don't want to do it, but 2 weeks as opposed to how many months you've spent so far of your life? Which one would you rather have? I choose 2 weeks. That's what you have to do. Like, you've done the research, guys. You've been in a lab and you know how long coronavirus can survive. You've got the evidence, you've got the data, you've got all this, so why don't you do something with it? Honestly. And what else winds me up? Well, I think that the vaccination rollout hasn't been terrible, right? It's the younger end of the age group, the population, the younger population, they should also be vaccinated fairly soon. They should have been vaccinated sooner, because that's the generation, that's the population that needs to go back to work. Because the people over 70 and over 65, all these age groups, they are not eligible to work. They are retired. They can't work. They can only do like voluntary work, and even that's shut down. That was closed off because of lockdown anyway. Like charity shops and stores and warehouses and whatever else they use, those would have been closed. So the older end of the spectrum, they can't work. The younger generation, they can work, and they're probably eager to do that because they're just nobody's getting any income. And now that they've opened it up again, cases are going through the roof once more because some idiot thought that the Indian variant would not spread. Of course it spreads. How does any other disease spread? Like when we had, it was Spanish flu, wasn't it, in just after the First World War. I think it was just after Spanish flu. That spread like wildfire. Eventually, it claimed, well, I think it claimed the lives of about millions of people. Somewhere in that spectrum. Things like the Black Death. You know what happens when a disease spreads. Medical science is not that dumb. If you use the principle of a disease is spreading, what shall we do? Vaccination obviously helps. Quarantine helps as well. You prevent it from spreading. Like they had to do that with the Ebola virus. Because that thing is basically just a death sentence to anybody who gets it. Coronavirus is not a death sentence to everybody who gets it, but as we have shown, it can claim lives. And the more lives it claims, yes, the death rate is much lower than the infection rate. You know, not everyone who's infected will be killed by it, but the issue there is it's still possible to, and the more that you keep it within society, the more deaths there's going to be. That's the principle. It's like the flu. The flu can kill people who are particularly vulnerable. You know, people who are elderly or immunosuppressed, or they just have other health conditions that get in the way. The flu can kill those people. But we vaccinate against the flu, even though the flu comes back every single year, because it mutates and it adjusts so that it can get past things like the vaccine. So essentially what you want to do is vaccinate so quickly that it doesn't have time to react and it doesn't have time to adjust. The Indian variant came about because it's a variant of an existing thing. Because we just weren't fast enough to kill off the origin, as it were. We weren't fast enough to do that. So what we're essentially doing is we're going to be stuck in this point in time where we are creating constant new variants of something that we're going to have to vaccinate against in the future, because we're essentially too slow and too stupid to understand that that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying, that is what it looks like to me. And I'm not even a doctor, I just look at the facts, and with those facts I find out that yes, we are going to be in this situation for quite a long time unless we actually put our foot down and change the way we're doing stuff now, because otherwise we're just not going to get anywhere. Coronavirus might be just a simple virus. It doesn't even have really a brain. It's not even that intelligent, it just floats around until it infects someone. It doesn't physically move from place to place, it's the method of infection that's making it do that. We are responsible for spreading it around. We are the ones who are doing that. Coronavirus can't spread itself around, it can't move. So we are essentially giving it the chance to cause more problems by not reacting quick enough. And this is coming from a 21-year-old. It's very embarrassing when people who have been doing medical studies for years don't know what the hell they're doing, but a 21-year-old who has no medical experience whatsoever can see that, yeah, we're going to be in this situation for quite a while, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for so many different reasons. You're ruining the economy, which will take a long time to recover from, even at this stage, even in the first year of lockdown. When we first heard about it, yeah, it would have caused about a decade, maybe even 15-20 years to get the economy back to where it is, to where it was before all this. And even then it wasn't even in too great of a state, at least in the UK. So if you really want to get the economy back, you have to take drastic measures. And those drastic measures are keep everyone inside by law. End of story. Because it cannot survive for more than 2 weeks. And if it can't survive for more than 2 weeks, you've got the sell-by date, or I'm using the term sell-by date, you've got the expiry date on the thing. You know when it's going to die. You know that it can't survive past that amount of time. Everyone who had it, I mean, yes, people who are vulnerable to it, obviously don't stop people from getting medical help or help from the police or the fire service. Don't do any of that. But unless it's an emergency, no one should be leaving their home. Not in that situation, not when it's so dire. If this was the Ebola virus, I guarantee they keep you all under armed guard. Like they would find people to do that. I guarantee that they would, if that was the situation that we were in, for something that would pretty much serve as a death sentence. If it was like the plague or the Black Death, that is what would happen. In this day and age, you'd be under lock and key. You wouldn't be allowed to leave. That would be the dire situation. But because it's not guaranteed to kill everybody it infects, it's a different story. But if we took that approach to every single disease, I'm not saying put everyone under armed guard, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying if everyone stayed at home and only left if it was an actual emergency, if you needed to leave the house to go to a hospital or to get help from the police or stuff like that, and you can give them masks so that they're not spreading it if they have it. You can minimise the number of cases. So that means there will only be as many cases, theoretically speaking, as there are emergencies. And steps can be taken to prevent those key workers from getting the virus. Like they have been already, except much better, because clearly it's been done quite poorly. And I understand that I'm rambling here. I get that. I get that I'm rambling, and that when all said and done, it could be a lot worse. Yeah, it could be a lot worse, but it doesn't have to be like this. This is not how you do it. If we're constantly getting the... oh, drive 31.4 miles. Cool. But if we're constantly getting into a situation where we have to go into lockdown again, what is the point of coming out of it? Seriously, what's the point if we're back to square one in like a month or a week? Because I guarantee you, this Indian variant is not going away. This is going to be a problem. This is a problem. It is already a problem. And no offense to anybody, if you think it's not going to be a problem, you're just dumb. Because it spreads more easily than the variants that already exist. So yeah, you're going to be in another lockdown very, very soon. So if you are enjoying your time in lockdown right now, enjoying your time out of that, it sucks to be you, because you're going to be back in lockdown in about a month. If nobody bothers to respond to this situation in any meaningful way, you are going back there. So if you've got like a campaign going nearby, sign up to it, like a what are they called? What are those things called? A petition. If you've got like a petition to do a certain drastic action to prevent the spread of this new variant, do it. Do it. Because, like it or not, you're going to be back in lockdown thanks to, well, basically the public. Because it is their fault. It is our it is our own fault. But it's also not all our fault. Excuse me. It's the UK government's fault for easing lockdown when they know that the Indian variant is in the UK and it can spread very easily. But they decided to say, forget it. It's not going to be a problem. It's not like it spreads easier than the previous variants. It's not as if it's in the UK right now. It's not as if we are actually tracking where it is at the moment. Let's just forget it. Let's just pretend it doesn't exist. And then open everything up and everything will be fine. Wrong. If these guys were on a game show, they wouldn't get any money or any points. Right, they'd be laughed off the stage. It would be that bad with how many stupid decisions and answers that they are coming up with. Because if something is so obviously a problem, why would you not? Why would you ignore the hard facts that you're kind of lucky to have? You're kind of lucky that medical experts have got you back. Because if this was another situation, I'm gonna clear my throat. I'll take a break after this. I think we've just got this one last thing to go, and then we'll go to Glasgow and then finish it. But what I'm saying is that it's an issue, isn't it? It's going to be an issue for a while. And if you've got information, I recommend that you use it. Not just leave it there to mean nothing, because doing nothing about the virus is a lot worse than, well, doing it the way that we're doing it, easing lockdown at the complete wrong times, not understanding the principles of infection for a start. Like, we know that the whole, wash your hands, wear a face mask, keep such and such distant apart from each other. Yeah, we know that part. The only part that you're not understanding is that all infections do spread. They will spread under the right circumstances. How do diseases and infections spread, and viruses, and we've known this for years. We've known the fundamentals. We understand that if we let people mix who have got the virus, they will spread it to other people. That is the fundamental point. That is just the bottom line. So why, when you still have quite a few infections out there, do you allow people to just go back to how they were? let's explain this from a mathematic point of view. Let's say you have 3 people. I know I'm going on about it a bit, but this will be the last thing that I'm going to say. Let's imagine you have 3 people in the whole of the UK that have coronavirus. Right, let's just imagine you know who those 3 people are. Or even if you didn't know who they are, but you knew that there were 3 people who had it, right? What is the first thing you would think of not to do? If you know that people in the UK have got the virus, allowing them, especially in cases where it's asymptomatic, why would you allow them to spread it further? Right? This is what's bugging me. The case rates should be near 0. That case rate should be pretty much nil before you even think about easing lockdown. It should be like 1 or 2 people in the entire UK. Should be like that, because those are just the cases that you know about. The other ones, you don't know about those yet. There could be, 100 people in the UK at that point who have the virus but just haven't reported it or haven't been picked up by testing. But when you allow these, you're basically allowing an unknown to get into the mix. Oh, we don't know if such and such person has the virus, but we're going to let everybody just mix again, come into contact with each other, and once we start doing that, I'm sure things will be fine. Well, that one case, when it spreads to another person, they can infect another person, and they can infect another person, and it just goes on and on and on. That's why. They don't seem to understand that though, do they? That one person who has it in this certain area could go on to infect about 15 people just on their own in one day. Maybe even more. And then those 15 people could infect a further 15 each. That's how you get that's how you get super spreader events. That's how you get this situation that we're in right now. I'm just thinking, you're gonna need to vaccinate everybody. And I don't even know if they're gonna bother with vaccinating children. I think that they should. Because, let's just be honest, if children are gonna be spreading it amongst themselves, they might create a new variant which will then affect the adults. Or something like that. You know, it is possible. This whole virus came from somebody accidentally consuming, I think it was bat poo. Right, something as relatively harmless as bat poo, I think, caused this. And it was a virus that just mutated and adapted to affect humans. So if that's the case, then we shouldn't be allowing it to spread amongst any age group. You know, we should all be vaccinated. And children are vaccinated in the UK against other things, like things like meningitis, measles, mumps, and rubella. You know, those can be relatively serious for vulnerable kids. There's all sorts of different vaccinations available for kids, and for those of you who think, oh, it causes autism, it doesn't. It doesn't. Vaccines do not cause any real negative effects, other than maybe an allergic reaction. That's about it. They can't really cause much else, and their benefits far outweigh any risks. I'm just saying, we're going to need to vaccinate everybody eventually. So get your sleeve rolled up. You're having it. I know I am. But we haven't been really talking much about the game that we're playing at the moment, and you know, I am enjoying this DLC. I've got to be honest, it is very nice. Is that on though? It is now. Slowly going to Glasgow again. Yeah, I like this route. I don't think this is a bad route at all. I think this is going to be useful for me. And I like the train. Graphically this looks nice. The sounds are brilliant. Good value, I'd say. I'd say it's a decent sort of value for money here when we're talking about this specific update. I think it's a decent value for it. It's not the best. I mean, one train, 20 miles worth of route, around 205 services that you can do in total. A decent number of scenarios. I mean, the route looks very well crafted to my eyes, so I'd say this is a decent sort of value. Ideally we'd have more trains in this DLC. Ideally we'd have another livery to choose from. Ideally, I mean, maybe we'd have 6-car variants of the service mode. Are they automatically opened? They have. Did I press the button? Or have they automatically done that? Maybe. I don't know. Can I close them? I can. Right, so it was probably me who pressed the button then. Let's try that. Door release. There we go. And that's door release. That's also door release. So those are to release. But where's the close? I suppose it's on that panel, isn't it? And then the close ones are for the left up here. Oh, that's a full close. Press that one. Sweet. Is that the end of it? Yeah, there we go. Anyway, I'd say this is pretty much the end of the stream. It's basically 2:45 in the morning. We've had a bunch of stuff going on at the moment. You know, new DLC. Most of it was just me talking about coronavirus at the end. But you know how ranty I can get. Anyway, thanks for enjoying and watching and coming along to today's stream. I hope you enjoyed the Glasgow Cathcart Circle line. I know I did. And I'll probably be doing a separate video that you can watch pre-recorded very, very soon. Thanks for watching and goodbye.